You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
The Biden administration was releasing illegal immigrants into our communities who had COVID. The Biden administration was spreading COVID in South Texas yesterday because of their lack of constraint of testing and quarantining people who'd come across the border illegally. The Biden administration was exposing Texans to COVID. That is Neanderthal-type approach to dealing with the COVID situation.
By sure it was. This is March 5, 2021. Those are the words of Texas Governor Abbott. Of course, they're opening up the state of Texas. All the mask mandates are going away. All the business closings are going away. And of course, the left is saying, yes, too soon. You're going to have a COVID outbreak in Texas. If they have a COVID outbreak in Texas, mark my words on this. If they have a COVID outbreak in Texas, it's going to be mainly because illegals are allowed to come across the border unchecked. And even if they're found to be positive, they're letting them go through the state, trusting that they will go somewhere into quarantine and not travel anywhere else. And the left is counting on that to happen so it can look like the governor made a bad decision. The decision begins in the Biden administration. Listen to this. There's a ruling today from the Supreme Court. And I say a ruling. The court actually just simply dismissed 3 pending requests to hear challenges of the Trump administration order to withhold millions of dollars in law enforcement funds from so-called sanctuary jurisdictions, states and cities that would not work with the Department of Homeland Security. Remember, in 2017, Trump signed the executive order calling on U.S. agencies to withhold federal funding from sanctuary jurisdictions, many, of course, governed by Democrats. Well, after Biden got into office, he rescinded the Trump order. And the Department of Justice filed letters with the Supreme Court seeking their dismissal. And today, the Supreme Court dismissed the cases because the Department of Justice is saying we're not going to pursue it. So there's nothing for the Supreme Court to do but dismiss it. These cases involve New York City, San Francisco, various states, including California and New York. And in a statement, the New York Attorney General expressed satisfaction, saying, we are pleased that despite the Trump administration's attempts to exact revenge on cities and states through vindictive policies and continued litigation, we were able to work with the Biden administration to dismiss this case in Supreme Court. It was not meant to be simply revenge. It was simply meant to enforce our law. That happens all across the nation right now. They have if you post at a time, remember the 55 speed limit law on the highways? Maybe you didn't drive that. I didn't. Well, the states had to post it, and if they didn't do so, then they would lose federal dollars. So that kind of stuff happens in various ways all the time. But here we are now. They're looking at blaming Governor Abbott if there's an outbreak of COVID. Now, the other thing, we'll be talking to John LeBoutier later today because there's more events involving Andrew Cuomo, New York governor. I want you to hear what he said in 2019 compared to what's happening today. And also, Joe Biden, boy, stuck his foot in his mouth again. And James Carville, he's going to talk to you about why the Republicans are taking care of the wealthy whites and not the poor. You want to talk about taking care of the poor? We're going to look closer at that situation in the Baltimore schools. A kid that's at 0.13 GPA, and he's in the upper 50% of his class. That's not a COVID issue. That's the kind of thing that's been going on for decades, generations. It's poor schooling and effort, and they're not doing the right thing, giving the kids the education they need, simply passing them forward. We're going to look at that in more detail. And we'll also take a good look again about an incident that I say, if you really care about Black Lives Matter, where are you today? A story happened today, and I haven't heard one word from Black Lives Matter. What I have seen, though, is that we have the left continuing to claim that the Republicans and Trump supporters are all violent, planning a plot. Congressman Al Green, Democrat of Texas, took a photo of himself sitting on the Capitol steps yesterday. Sent it out. It's a photo op for him to send it out and say, look, I'll be here. If right-wing extremists show up, I'm here. That was simply political all the way. Look at me. I'm here. We have a lot to cover over the next 2 hours. You do not want to miss a single part of it. Let your friends and neighbors know we are on the air. Thanks for helping this program grow daily. Right now, lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can email Larry at LarryConnersUSA@gmail.com. LarryConnersUSA@gmail.com.